fans are making a lot of noise at AT&T Stadium.
Anything that moves between these lines, gotta get dealt with.
10, 5, and he streaks in. Deep to the post to Lamb. At the 5, to the goal line.
Dallas Cowboys Game Night is presented by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys.
Over the years, the Dallas Cowboys have had some memorable matchups with the Atlanta Falcons. Well, Week 9 of the 2024 NFL season proves to be another one. 27-21, the Falcons take down the Cowboys in what could be a costly loss for America's team, as the Dallas Cowboys have both Dak Prescott banged up, CeeDee Lamb banged up, and the Cowboys falling below 500 a little bit further at 3-5 overall on the season. Welcome in to Cowboys Game Night. We've got highlights and instant reaction and breakdown from Isaiah Standback following the loss to Atlanta, starting with the highlights. Dak Prescott and the Cowboys have won 2 straight against the Atlanta Falcons, looking for their 3rd straight matchup. Their previous 2, they scored 40 points. Not going to get there today. After Dallas started the scoring with a field goal, Atlanta put it together for a 7-play, 78-yard drive. Drake London goes up to get it over the top of Trayvon Diggs. Now, this was the first touchdown pass for Kirk Cousins, but it was the only grab for Drake London. He would leave the game and did not return for the Falcons offense. Didn't matter though. Atlanta kept things rolling after a Dallas 3-and-out. Atlanta back on offense. Kirk Cousins pressured by Carl Lawson. The ball pops out on the strip sack. Donovan Wilson gets it back with the recovery, and the Dallas defense secures the first takeaway of the day. But what did the offense do with it? On 4th and 1, they elect to go for it. They sweep it to CeeDee Lamb, and Lamb, instead of going forward, goes backwards, giving the ball back to Atlanta. Following drive on 4th down and 3 themselves, they go for it. They have a much different resort. Darnell Mooney works open on the wheel route. He is wide open for 6. Atlanta takes a 14-3 lead. Next drive for Dallas. Dak maneuvers out of pressure. He finds Rico Dowdle on the floater, had some trouble behind the line of scrimmage. Rico Dowdle had some trouble securing the grab, but he does tip it to himself. He holds on for the touchdown, and Dallas cuts it back down to just a 4-point game. Into the 3rd quarter we go from here. It was 14-10 Atlanta at the break. Dallas stopped on their opening drive. They line up the punt, but not so fast. Brian Anger tries the fake punt looking for C.J. Goodwin. It's incomplete. Dallas gives the ball back to Atlanta on their own 30-yard line. Huge field position, all leading to a Ray McCloud touchdown grab. The Falcons taking full control early in the 3rd, 21-10, Dirty Birds on top. Dallas did have a field goal to end the 3rd, but before that, on the drive, Dak Prescott completes a pass to Jalen Brooks on the sideline. That's a great thing, setting up 2nd down and 20 and making it 3rd down and 10, but Dak Prescott, a little shaken up on the play, said that a couple plays prior to this, he felt something in his hamstring. He did not return after this. Dak Prescott out for the remainder of the game. Into the 4th quarter we go. Atlanta still up by 1 score. Pushing his way to the goal line is Tyler Algier. He runs it in from 6 yards out. The first non-passing score of the day for ATL. Dallas and Cooper Rush would cut the lead down in a couple of moments. Before that, they threw it to CeeDee Lamb in the end zone. He had already been wincing, grimacing due to injury in the early going. This one made it even worse for CeeDee Lamb. Checked up on the sideline by the Cowboys training staff. He waves him off, stays in the game. He said post-game that he still will be okay going into next week, but you can see him battling through a couple of things. Cowboys kept battling themselves. Completion back in the end zone to Jalen Tolbert, cut the score to just 1 possession. Then on the ensuing onside kick, Kyle Pitts jumps on top of it. Watermelon kick worked a couple meetings ago back in 2020 between the Cowboys and Falcons. It did not work this time. The Cowboys have their first 3-game losing streak since 2020. As we take a look at some of the final stats presented by Miller Lite, 27-21 21 the final score. The Cowboys defense seemingly did their job. Only 310 yards of total offense. They limited Bijan Robinson, yet it was the Cowboys offense that just could not get off the ground even before the Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb injuries. I mentioned Isaiah Standback. Here he is, Super Bowl champion, Emmy Award winner. Isaiah, tell me about what you saw in this loss.
Yeah, I just saw some missed opportunities offensively. This offense just did not seem to be clicking. You were able to get Rico Dowdle going. Obviously, CeeDee Lamb was having some success, but other guys need to step up. Defensively, they did better than what they've shown on film this year, but it still just wasn't enough as they gave up 4 scoring touchdowns. And now no field goals, they were all touchdowns. You can't end up that way.
No doubt about it. And the Cowboys falling 27-21. When we come back, we hit the film room and we break down what exactly happened on a couple of these questionable calls from a playmaker standpoint, with more Cowboys Game Night after this.
This segment is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Dallas Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today.
Anger back to punt. Wanye Thomas is the protector who's calling out the signals. And it is a fake for Brian Anger. And incomplete. Nearly an interception for Atlanta.
Oh, what a decision that was to try the fake punt. Brian Anger throwing to C.J. Goodwin. Let's break it down, Isaiah. Not only that questionable call, but also the 4th down and 1 early in the game to CeeDee Lamb. I want you to take me through the decision-making on both sides, not only from deciding to go for it on 4th down, but really the play call that ensued whenever you take a look at the film.
You know what, Kyle? Let's go ahead and take a look at the film. Let's just take a look at it. Okay?
let's
talk about it.
Right?
So this first play we're going to look at is going to be obviously the 4th and 1 decision by Coach McCarthy to go ahead and try to get this first down by utilizing CeeDee Lamb on what we call a fly sweep, okay? So CeeDee Lamb, where is he at? Well, here he is right here. What you're trying to do is get him across the formation, and by getting him across the formation, all he's looking for is one seam where he could then get vertical and get across this line of scrimmage. But it just doesn't happen. So let's go ahead and see it. You're going to see the fly sweep come across. Now, as we pause it right here, boom, they are leaving this man as a free runner. All right, their goal is to say, hey, our guy's faster than your guy. He's going to get outside here, okay, and what we're going to do is we get a seal block. Seal this guy, go out here, seal this guy, and CeeDee Lamb's going to have the entire sideline to go ahead and run to. That doesn't happen. What happens here, that free runner is able to get a hand on CeeDee. He is unable to outrun him, and because of that, now the whole party comes to him and forces him going backwards. That's obviously not going to get you a first down. But most people are going to look at that and say, why are we running that play? I don't disagree. I don't like the play call on a 4th and 1 situation. But the next quarter, the Dallas Cowboys come back and run the same exact play. Let's see how this goes this time. Fly sweep comes across. Boom. Let's run it back one more time. You guys see the success here. But we said, who's the free runner? This man's the free runner. They're going to allow for him to come through, except for this time, CeeDee Lamb is able to actually outflank him. And because he's able to outflank him, he's now able to get vertical. There goes that seam I was talking about, and you get a positive play. So it's not always bad when you talk about the play calling from Coach McCarthy. He actually does a good job of calling some plays, but on the execution, he can't do both jobs. You guys be able to call a good play in a good situation, and the players have to execute it.
Now, tell me about this fake punt as well, and kind of the breakdown of why this probably shouldn't have happened in the first place.
Yeah, so as we look into this now, this other play call, okay? Now, the play comes in. They want to be aggressive on this side of the ball. Okay, obviously you have Brian Anger back here, but the man that needs to have all the attention on this particular play is going to be Mr. Wanye Thomas. Mr. Wanye Thomas is coming up, and he is the quarterback of the punt team. Now, he is going to look at these guys and say, how many guys are back? Well, there's 1, 2, 3 guys that are back that are playing defense. These guys are waiting for a pass. They're waiting for a play. They're waiting for a play-action play, something that is unorthodox. But the man that he's looking for is going to be outside here. Okay, he's looking at Mr. C.J. Goodwin. Now, if this is going to be a pass from Mr. Brian Anger to C.J. Goodwin, then there needs to be what? There needs to be off coverage. There is not off coverage. That man's pressed up on C.J. Goodwin. So Wanye Thomas, being the quarterback of the defense right here, needs to come up immediately right now and say, no, we're canceling this play. I have the power and authority to do so. This is not the look that we had in practice. Let's go ahead and veto this play call. He doesn't, and because of that, this is the result.
That's really the big thing for this play, Isaiah, whenever it comes to how it ended up. You could see it, the tight coverage on the sideline, and, of course, almost an interception overall as, of course, the Cowboys don't get it done here on this 4th down play. You get an opportunity to look at it here with Isaiah Standback. But when we come back, let's hear from CeeDee Lamb. You showed him on the 4th down and 1. He had some success, had to battle through some things as well, and the Cowboys lost to Atlanta.
This segment was brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Dallas Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today.
Welcome back into Cowboys game night. Dak Prescott banged up in the game. He left in the middle of the third quarter due to a hamstring issue. Not on this throw, but actually on a run prior. CeeDee Lamb battled through some injuries as well, dealing with a right shoulder injury. Let's hear from CeeDee Lamb after the game.
How's the arm and shoulder right now? Can you quantify it at this point?
It hurts. No need to shortchange it. But that's no excuse for my performance. Quite honestly, I feel like I could have played better overall, and I'll be better.
How much did it limit you out there as the game went on?
I'm not going to put so much emphasis on it, quite honestly, as far as me catching the ball, because overall that's my job. But yeah, it definitely hurt, for sure.
Can you anticipate how it might affect you next week?
I'll be out there, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah.
I'll be playing.
This team in general right now and where it stands, what's your level of confidence in this team as you fall to 3-5?
My confidence will never be lost. Quite honestly, I always have belief. I know the work that we put in, and obviously we came up short again. But see y'all again next week in the division game.
I know your confidence, you said, won't be lost, but how much is it being tested just with this 3 games?
Losing obviously is always a testament to your ability to believe in this team, believe in, quite honestly, anything that you feel like you can accomplish. And as for me, I'm out there to battle, man. I'm not out here to just go out there and play whatever kind of game as far as for anybody. You know, I'm going out there to play for my guys, play for my boys, and hopefully come out with a win. Obviously, these last 3 weeks we've come up short, but still got 9 more games left.
Cooper came in and obviously his experience there. Just what do you make of just how he played and just the confidence in him moving forward?
I mean, we've seen what Coop can do when he subbed in, and granted, he definitely dropped a couple nice balls on everybody as far as placement, timing, and overall us being available and him being available for us. So as for him, just building that confidence again, and see y'all again next week.
Give credit to CeeDee Lamb fighting through that injury and helping the offense out down the stretch to at least make it a one-score game. But he mentioned it there, still too little, too late, Isaiah. When it comes to this offense, though, where do you start to try and find some level of rhythm, especially if Dak Prescott is still banged up from the hamstring?
Well, you heard it from CeeDee Lamb right there. He said that he trusts Coop when he comes in the huddle. He's proven himself in terms of his history and what he's done for this organization in the past. So no questions there. He's not having to try to prove himself to the offensive line, prove his leadership, prove anything. He's able to do it. Now, when you start looking at the consistency offensively for these guys, they have to continue to try to run the ball better. They did a better job today with Rico Dowdle, giving him a good, I think he had 12 carries. So they did a good job with that. I think he deserves more. I think they still need to get more productivity there. But I did see a step forward in terms of some of the play calling from Coach McCarthy today. This team needs more playmakers to step up. They need more guys like Turpin to make big plays along the way. They need Ferguson to be a consistent piece for them. And then they also have to find a way to get this blocking scheme figured out, to give any running back opportunity and to give the next quarterback, whoever that might be, whether that's Cooper, whether that's Dak, coming back off the hammy, they have to give these guys a chance in time.
Yeah, you got to find a way, because it's not just those guys. You got to have everybody else step up in a big way. We're going to flip to the defensive side of the football when we come back. I want Isaiah to break down that Mooney touchdown we saw earlier, a miscommunication out of the bunch formation. That's not the only time it's happened for the Dallas defense. What went wrong on this play right after this?
Closed captioning is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today.
Yeah, we was in cover 0. We wasn't on the same, everybody was on the same plane, pick route. It's an easy 0 beater. So, next time, we'll make sure we get it done.
So Trayvon Diggs talking about it. It was a cover 0 beater going up against cover 0. What happened on this play? Because bunch formations and pre-snap motion have given fits to this Dallas defense throughout. I want to take a look at it on the film, but show us how this one unfolded.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a peek at it. You guys hear Trayvon talking about it right there. The one thing about it is once the offense is able to dictate that you're in a cover zero scheme, they know all of a sudden what can beat it. The number one thing right here that gives it away that is going to be cover zero is Trayvon Diggs. When's the last time you've seen Trayvon Diggs just sitting in the middle of the field? Doesn't necessarily happen. So if there's 3 guys over here, 1, 2, 3, how many defenders do you have? 1, 2, 3. Sorry, let me go ahead and back it up. Run it back. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 defenders. Okay, so somebody's coming. Those guys are not just going to sit there. So right off the bat, that Kirk Cousins know that this man is coming off the edge. Okay, so now what does that leave? You talk about the guys at levels, okay? Well, normally you want to have a guy sitting back here, and he's going to be covering the guy whoever comes outside, okay? So whoever comes outside is going to be the guy that he's most concerned about. Now, if the guys are sitting inside, this guy's going to be, Trayvon's supposed to be responsible for anybody that comes inside. But when you decide to keep it what we call man lock, now everybody is going to be locked in on their guy. Locked in, locked in, locked in. And if you do that, then they start running what we call pick routes. They're not necessarily real picks, but they're legal picks. He's going to come up and he's going to scrape. He's going to come up and he's going to scrape. And he's going to try to get Trayvon to either come underneath or he's going to try to get him to go over the top. Either way, the space is at the top of the formation right here. You guys are going to see all the space allotted up here, and it works just perfect. So as you see the play come out, boom, there goes a blitz off the edge. Pause it right there. There comes the pick routes that we're talking about. These guys are going to take outside releases, and they're essentially trying to wall this in. Outside release, try to wall this in. Trayvon Diggs is now forced with a situation. Am I going to go ahead and try to go through underneath all this? Am I going to try to go through all this, or am I going to try to go over the top? That's the situation he's faced with. You see exactly the result of this. He ends up finding his way right in the midst of it. Okay, as we see this thing play out, you're going to see it. Go ahead, whoop, pause it right there. Trayvon gets caught in the wash. These are all the Dallas defenders. All 3 of the defensive backs that we had on that play are all cooped up right here, and all of a sudden, whoop, Mooney's right up the sideline. Perfect play call. Perfect situation. They had it lined up perfectly for the offense. Dallas has to do a better job of lining up on different planes so that they can do what we call in and out. They can go ahead and say, you got the inside guy, you have the outside guy. But instead, when you have everybody on the same playing field, you're going to get these pick routes, and that's going to be the result almost every time.
That's the thing about this sort of play. When you see all 3 of those guys converged in the middle of the field like that, that's not okay. It's almost like wide receivers running the same route. You can't have defenders going in the same spot at the same time. That was one of the many things that went wrong for this Cowboys team. But when we come back, I want to talk about your learning lessons. How can this team get better? Because there's a tough schedule on the horizon. Where do they go from here to avoid some other mistakes along the way?
To watch more Dallas Cowboys content on your connected TV, download the Cowboys Now app on Amazon Fire, Roku, and Apple TV. Dallas Cowboys Game Night was presented by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys.
Shows and brings pressure. Rush back to the end zone. It is a touchdown for Jalen Tolbert.
27-21 the final scores. We welcome you back into Cowboys Game Night alongside Isaiah Standback. I'm Kyle Yeomans. It's time for Standback's Learning Lessons. I want you to tell the Cowboys how they can continue to move forward. You saw Jalen Tolbert with a nice touchdown grab there. How do you build on that?
Yeah, so first thing first for the Dallas Cowboys, you have to go back and review the tape, all right? You made a step forward defensively today, all right? You went out there and you were able to force a turnover. You were able to get the ball on the ground. You just have to take advantage of those opportunities. When you get the team down there, you have to stop them from scoring touchdowns in the red zone, okay? You can't give up the big boy touchdowns. So that's something that you took a step forward, but you took a step backwards in terms of giving up touchdowns. Offensively, you have to get the next man up. The next man has to step up and make plays. We saw the example of Jalen Tolbert stepping up and making a touchdown at the end. We've seen Cooper Rush stepping in there and dropping some dimes out there. You need more playmakers to step up. And then overall, in terms of this team, you need to get guys healthy. You guys have to get back healthy. You have too many all-pros that are out right now that are huge contributors and guys that you depend upon and that you rely upon to go out there and help you make plays. Get these guys back on the field so that you can get the morale of this team up and you go out there and have some success.
Injuries are a part of the game. But when you have so many stacking up one on top of the other, it will affect you at the end of the day. And we saw it again today, and we might see it more depending on CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott moving forward. Isaiah Standback, I'm Kyle Yeomans. We'll see you next week. More Cowboys Game Night coming your way following the Cowboys and Eagles on Sunday.